Today I've been asked by my fellow rifle shooting colleagues to do a quick demonstration on just a rifle clean basically. So we're going to look at, this is John's, the boss's Blaser R8 Monza, and we're just going to go through on how to clean it basically. Right, the first part of cleaning is making sure the exterior of the rifle is oiled and well clean. If you've been out stalking, morning stalk, evening stalk, the temperatures can be cold, you can be shooting in all sorts of conditions, rain, damp weather. You come back into a warm room, condensation gathers on the outside of the gun. Basically you want to prevent putting the gun away wet, so you want to give it a good wipe down, make sure all the metal parts reach room temperature before the gun goes back in the cabinet, so it's not gathering condensation in the cabinet. First of all, so wipe the gun completely down, oily rag, make sure everything's clean, and then you want to concentrate on the barrel. So moderators are something you want to take off once you get back home. You never want to store the gun with the moderator on. As you fire a rifle round, the corrosive gases and residue from the powder can gather inside the baffles of the sound moderator. If you put the gun away with the sound mod on, those corrosive residue can basically leak down into the rifling, cause pitting, corrosion on the crown. It's not good. So basically we want to remove this when we get home. So unscrew it, and basically for moderator care, it depends if you're using a mild steel mod or an alloy style lightweight mod. Obviously the mild steel are much more susceptible to corrosion and rust, so you want a good squirt of oil down each end. Give the exterior a good wipe down. The alloy mods are much better at handling weather conditions, but still you want to care for those baffles internally, so a good squirt each end with a bit of oil or something like that. The crown and threads of the rifle, you want to give them a good wipe, get any of that moisture or corrosive residue off it, and the same for the rest of the barrel. On these Blasers it's great, you can strip them right down, the scope comes off on these saddle mounts, so these two latches come up, twist them off, scope comes away, and you've got access to the whole top of the barrel there, so just a good wipe down with an oily rag. And that's it basically. So you basically want to remove the bolt of the gun. On these Blasers, very simple, the magazine and trigger unit come away, and the bolt simply comes away with this latch here. Every rifle is different. Your traditional turn bolt style rifles, obviously you don't remove the trigger mechanism, the bolt just comes away with a similar button or latch, and then you can access the back of the breech just to clean the whole rifle out. So moving on to the actual cleaning. So once you've wiped the exterior of the gun, make sure it's clean, free from mud, moisture, all the rest, and also the other metal parts like the trigger guard, the bottom metal magazine, which obviously this gun doesn't have, but many others do. You want to wipe all that down, make sure the bolt's nice and clean, the bolt head, the face of the bolt, and just wipe any debris away from that, just with an oily rag, and just make sure everything's spotless. Then we want to move on to the actual bore and the rifling. For that, there's a couple of methods you can use. Some people just like to give it a quick clean, and they'll use something called a pull-through, which has a long string with a weighted end. You drop that down the bore and you pull it through. There's often phosphor bronze bristles on the end which give it somewhat of a clean. However, the downsides to this is it really doesn't give a thorough clean. It removes a little bit of loose debris, and yes, it does remove any moisture or condensation in the bore, but it's not a thorough clean. Also, after several uses, the pull through can get pretty dirty, and you don't want to be redepositing the dirt you've just cleaned out of the bore every time you use it within the bore again. So the best method, and my personal favourite way of cleaning, is to use a rod, a rifle bore rod, basically, cleaning rod. Basically these have different attachments for cleaning. The first one we're going to look at is the jag. Now this is a Pro Shot jag. Its main purpose is to push patches through the bore. It's got a little spike on the end, basically designed to go through the middle of your patch. Now patches, you can either buy pre-cut packs, which are caliber specific, the right size for your bore, or you can cut them to shape from 4x2 cloth and just make sure you get the right size, because if it's too big you can get them stuck in, which a bit of a nightmare to get out. But yeah, you want to cut them to the right size. The first couple of patches that I always put through my boar when I'm cleaning it are covered in solvent. You want to saturate them in solvent, push them through, leave the complete rifling absolutely saturated in the solvent, leave it for 15-20 minutes. This helps break down all the carbon build-up, the lead fouling, copper fouling, just helps loosen it all up. After the 20 minutes has passed, you want to come back, put some more patches on, clean patches, and push them through. I would push them maybe 6-7 patches through. You'll start seeing them come through pretty black and dirty to start off with, and then you'll probably get some blue streaks, which will be the copper coming out the barrel. You want to keep pushing them through till they basically come through clean. If it's taking lots and lots of patches and it's not getting clean, you may want to use a brush, which I only use when I'm giving the rifle a thorough clean. So I'd remove the jag, simply unscrew it, screw on the brush. These are all caliber specific, so you'd have to make sure you buy the right brush and jag size for the caliber rifle you're shooting. What I would do then is saturate the brush in the solvent, give it a good scrub out, so push it all the way from the breech end to the muzzle. You always want to clean from the breech to the muzzle, not the other way around. If you clean from the muzzle, you can scratch and mark the crown, and that can severely hinder your accuracy of the rifle. So you want to always clean from the breech end. Push all the way through and then pull it back. Some people are worried that these phosphor bronze brushes will damage the barrel, or they'll only push it one way and then unscrew it and continue. It's not necessary. The phosphor bronze is a lot softer than the steel that's used to make the barrels. Some people also use nylon brushes. Either or, the phosphor bronze or the nylon brush will do the same job. Phosphor bronze may be that little bit more coarse, give it a little bit better clean. But yeah, then again, I only use it when it really is necessary. So yeah, after you've given the barrel a good scrub with the phosphor bronze brush or the nylon brush, whatever you decide to use, you want to come back to using your patches and push through clean patches until the rifle bore is clean. If it's really stubborn and say you've been on a range day or you just neglected your rifle for a long period of time, you may have to repeat the process with the brush. If you're pushing 10-15 patches through and they're still coming through dirty, repeat the process with the brush and then patches again. But once the barrel is completely clean and you've pushed your last patch through and it's come through spotless like that, you want to push an oily patch through just to maintain the bore inside and keep it rust free. So all I would do is the last patch, spray a bit of gun oil or dip it in gun oil and push that through, and it just protects the bore until your next time you use it. Might be a good idea to, before you take it out, if you leave the bore saturated in oil, just to push a clean patch through just to get any leftover residue of oil out before you use it again. But yeah, that pretty much covers the bore. Another tool I haven't touched on, but which can be a good idea to use when you're cleaning, is a bore guide. Now, a bore guide's designed to fit into the back of into the breech basically, and fits perfectly into the chamber, and it is either a plastic or aluminium tube which is designed to guide the cleaning rod perfectly into the bore of the rifle. It helps protect the throat and the chambering of the gun, and make sure you don't scratch it, nick it, anything like that. And it also prevents any solvent or oil going into the trigger mechanism or anything like that. It's a good idea, not particularly necessary for the vast majority of us who don't do a huge amount of shooting, but it can be a nice tool to use just for the overall care of your gun. I know there's a lot of rifle cleaning products available on the market, and it can be slightly overwhelming for somebody just getting into the sport to know what they need to buy in order to look after their rifle. Here we've got basically what we use. So starting off, we've got rifle cleaning rod, caliber specific, the jags and the brushes, also caliber specific, your cleaning patches, which you can either get cut to size, or you can buy a roll of like 4x2 and cut that to size and use that. You've got a solvent designed basically to get rid of the carbon buildup, copper, lead fouling, and then you've got your oil, which cares for the metalwork, repels moisture and all the rest. Leisure, a fantastic oil which I use just to clean the gun up generally. Just give it a wipe over and make sure it's rust free basically. But that's basically it. Yes, you can buy all sorts of solvents and oils, maybe some are better than others, but you're just going to have to find out for yourself what you should use. I should also mention that I don't think cleaning with solvents are necessary every single time, only maybe when after 100, 200 rounds. As long as you push a few clean patches through after you've used your rifle. If you've been stalking, you may have fired 1 or 2 shots, you just need to push a clean patch through, make sure there's no dirt or debris up the barrel, remove any moisture. You don't need to thoroughly clean it with solvent every single time. That's more for when you start to lose accuracy, or you've just left it for a very long time without cleaning. It's important to mention that the actual copper fouling can actually improve some of the small micro imperfections in the bore and actually improve accuracy. And that's why you find after you've given it a thorough clean, you may need 5, 10, 15 rounds before your groups start to tighten up again. So it's not completely necessary every time. Just push a couple of clean patches through, you'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything cleaning wise. I know people have different methods out there, but that's how we clean them here at Boar. Thank you very much.